gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged match, and this is a review for WWE SmackDown for January 10th, 2020. Holy shit, we're almost halfway through January already, man. What's going on? You start out with Miz TV, and it's John Morrison as the guest. Now, that was really cool, honestly. I wish they would have made a bigger entrance for John Morrison coming back. He's such a great talent and such a big name in the business, I think, in my opinion. I feel like they really should have done something stronger, but they actually did acknowledge that in this bit where he was saying, you know, we were thinking about doing this grand thing, but, you know, being that Miz is my friend and I'm really trying to look after him, I wanted to come in and just talk to Miz. And so they had a conversation where Miz and Morrison are establishing that they are a tag team or some kind of pairing that they've got going on. And John Morrison is definitely a heel. He started talking mad trash to the audience to where the New Day comes out, and of course they are kind of shooting fire back at Miz and Morrison, which leads into a match with Kofi Kingston versus The Miz, John Morrison and Big E on commentary. Of course, they both leave the commentary table, and it was a decent match at best. It could have been a hell of a lot better. This match didn't really do a whole lot for me, if I'm being honest. The best part of it was John Morrison doing some kind of parkour takedown on Big E outside of the ring that distracted Kofi Kingston and allowed Miz to get the skull-crushing finale. It was a weak finish for like Kofi Kingston being that distracted, and that's what it was. Then you get the Firefly Funhouse bit, where, you know, Bray Wyatt is talking about the Fiend, not forgetting what Daniel Bryan did, and they actually showed clips of, you know, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan's feud like 7 years ago, I think it was. So very cool. And then you get a Sonia Deville, Mandy Rose bit, where Sonia Deville's trying to pump up Mandy. She's got a match, and then Mandy's like, I got this one thing I got to do real quick, and then we're good. And then they have an Elias song. And, you know, last week it was really good. It was really funny. This was a very long song. Not as funny as last week. It had its moments. It had a couple of one-liners that I really liked. But overall, it was there. Then you get Heavy Machinery talking backstage. And Tucker is talking to Otis. And he's like, man, you got to get your head right. And then here comes Mandy Rose with a cake that says, I'm sorry. And she tried to explain last week, or the whole Dolph Ziggler bit, to Otis. And so that was kind of cool, I guess. So then you move on to Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross in her corner versus Mandy Rose with Sonia Deville in her corner. Neither one interfered, thankfully. And it was a match that was decent. Otis comes out with the cake during the match. Alexa Bliss is just completely distracted for some reason. You would think it would actually be the other way around. And Mandy Rose capitalizes and gets the win, and I didn't really understand that at all. It was a very bad distraction element. Like, it just really was. And already the second one of the night in the second match. So then you get what is supposed to be Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks isn't there. Sasha Banks' music hits, and then Bayley comes on the Titantron and says, Sasha's not here. And Bayley starts, you know, cutting her heel promo on Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans leaves the ring to go chase down Bayley, and it was stupid because Bayley attacks her from out of nowhere. She's beating her ass, and then all of a sudden, Lacey Evans turns it around and she's standing tall. That's not how these things work. If you attack somebody out of nowhere and you're beating their ass stays beat. It was really just kind of stupid the way they did it. That's my opinion. So then you get a Daniel Bryan interview talking about how, yes, he's been changed. Yes, he's beat Bray Wyatt before. He's not really worried. And then Firefly Funhouse Part 2 comes on the TV behind Daniel Bryan as the interview's happening. And at first it's one of the puppets saying that he knows how to beat Bray Wyatt and the strategy to do it. And then Bray Wyatt himself pops up behind the puppet and he's like, snitches get stitches, and, you know, kinda lame. A little bit. Then you get Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and it is exactly what you would expect it to be. Sami Zayn and Cesaro are at ringside. They both get involved. They both try to take out Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman overcomes the odds and gets the power slam win on Shinsuke Nakamura, so obviously he's going to have a title shot for the Intercontinental Championship with Shinsuke at some point. No surprise. Then you get a Sheamus package, which I actually really liked. Sheamus, I think, is not necessarily known for his promos, in my opinion. And I absolutely love Sheamus, but this was really good. I really liked it. He's talking about Chad Gable and how small is not something to be proud of. And, you know, how he uses the Chad Gable segment where he was talking about, you know, believing in yourself and, you know, staying true to who you are. And Sheamus is like, I agree, and that's why you're facing chaos, or whatever he said. I know it ended in chaos, so that was cool, man. Very cool. Then you get Daniel Bryan in a backstage bit where he finds that Wyatt puppet all torn apart, and it's obviously Bray Wyatt playing more mind games with Daniel Bryan, but it's just kind of weird, like, honestly. Then you get Roman Reigns. He cuts a promo saying he's going to, you know, deal with Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, but mainly it was he's going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face whoever at WrestleMania and headline WrestleMania for a 5th year. And then he stays ringside for the next match, which is the Usos versus Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. Not necessarily the greatest match. The Usos I love, but, you know, again, when you're dealing with Corbin, he's not my favorite in the ring. He's just not. It was there, it was whatever. It ended with Roman Reigns spearing Baron Corbin, which got Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin the DQ win. At least they got that right. And then there was this big fight that ensues, and it looks like maybe Roman Reigns is getting the upper hand until Robert Roode comes out of nowhere looking ripped as all hell. And so they all three take out Roman Reigns and powerbomb him through a table, and that's where they cut the show. Not really a very strong outing for what they had to work with. Like John Morrison coming back, you know, it's his like first major bit in WWE since. And I gotta say, I wasn't really the biggest fan, but it's cool to see him back. The first match could have been a lot better than it was. Otis, it's funny, I hate to say it, I like this dejected version of Otis a lot more than the stupid caricature version of himself. I think it just adds more weight because, honestly, like I said a million times, I'm not into stupid humor. So I actually kind of like this Mandy Rose Otis thing, although I don't know where it's going. So yeah, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke Nakamura, it was alright. I mean, it was very middle of the road for me. Like, the whole show was just very middle of the road. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Very middle of the road. It was halfway. Parts of it kept me interested. Parts of it, not so much. And that's just where I'm at with it. I didn't feel like anything really stood out to me. And I don't know that anything was like, oh my God. So yeah, that's just, it was there. So ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, Kaged Nation, out.